A quick video. I get a lot of questions on product ideas, if I think this product's good, and from some mistakes that I've made in the past, and then also me using on Amazon, and the product that I'm talking about is stainless steel straws. And you see a lot of listings here. The first thing I look at is right here. You see 1 out of 16, over 8,000 results. I always look at this number. I want to know how many results are coming up for this keyword term. 8,000, pretty high. There's a decent amount of people competing for that term. Another thing I'm going to take note on is who's on here and what's separating some of their products, right? Like, you see this one, always keep this in your mind. You want it to differentiate your product and make certain incentives and make it pop out and stand out. This one does a good job. You know, it says 6-pack, so maybe they're adding some more straws. It shows you the size. Maybe theirs are a little larger. Again, you would have to do and dig for all this information, and a good way to do that is look at the negative reviews and see what people are complaining about, and make sure when you're building your work, multiple samples from different people, so you know who you're dealing with, the quality of the product. You want to sell quality products, right? So again, the listings that we're doing, me and my team, we're making sure that we're really standing out and making quality stuff and adjusting. With that said, I'm using another tool up here. It's a Chrome extension called JUNGLESCOUT Pro. This is a paid tool. This is, it's a one-time fee. I think I paid $200 for that. I also was using JUNGLESCOUT web app, but result for the keyword stainless steel straws, and I start looking at certain things. Right away, I see that it's a high demand, high competition. I don't always go by that, though. Sometimes that could be a good sign, depending on who's on page one. But another thing I do look at is average reviews. I see on average, these listings have around 630 reviews. That's a lot of 5-star, 4-star, right, reviews that we're competing with if you look at their listings. So they've probably been on page one for a while for this term, or they have multiple products in this space, and they're generated a lot of reviews. Now, I'm not saying, now, this is some of the main points why I wouldn't jump into this product. Yes, it's a lot of sales in this product, but it's saturated to me. There's a lot of high reviews. It's a cheap product also. So I'm going to try to really compete with some big boys and big girls for a small profit margin. Now, I'm going to jump into another tool called Helium 10, and I love this tool right here. And it's called Helium 10, and you see these icons right here, all the tools within inside Helium 10. I'm first going to start with Black Box. Black Box lets us pretty much do product research. And now, again, you could think of your own products and do the manual work. You could go over to Amazon and really do the research, look at the competitors. But what's cool about this is, you know, I just had JUNGLESCOUT open, and I was telling you certain pain points. I was telling you, like, I don't want to compete with someone with 1,000 reviews, right? I don't want to compete with a product that I'm going to only profit $1 or $2, right? Especially if I have to really compete with big competitors that have been in the space for a while. So what this allows you to do is pick your category you want to go in. We'll pick home and kitchen. Let's say we're trying to go in there. The minimum monthly revenue that I want to be around, let's say, is $8,500 a month. Max, let's put 15,000. That's a good number. Price, I don't want the product to be less than $20. No more than, let's say, 40. Review minimum could stay there. Max, I don't want to compete with any products with more than 100 reviews. Okay, review rating, I don't mind, but this, I don't want it oversized, I want standard size, and now I'm going to search. Now it's actually going over to Amazon, and this tool is pulling all the data. It's finding products that are on page one, that are making sales, that are making, on average, look, this one's doing about 8,000 monthly revenue. It only has 1 star, right? But I would have to really go into this and start doing some homework. And I could sit here for hours, and that's why I love this tool, you know, and my team loves this tool. And you could really start digging through, like, hey, maybe I want to get into this. 61 reviews, wow, doing 8,000. What is this? Tutu table skirt. Let me look into tutu table skirts. Let me look more on this competitor, right? And you can really start digging. Now, I wanted to save some time, so instead of us trying to find something that like pops out to me, because I'm sure we could right away, I actually had something like a week ago pop out to me, and it was a defrosting tray. And what I did was, and I'll go over to Amazon. I'll show you why this stood out to me. The frosting tray. This is why it stood out to me. I'm gonna pull up Jungle Scout now. This is why I love the Jungle Scout one-time fee that you do have to pay, but then you could use it forever. And I just like doing some product research. So it's medium demand but low competition. And I think that this product has the capability of, if you're using other outside marketing sources, to really get people to find your listing. And people love this type of kitchen stuff, I believe. So it might be a good time to jump in it now, right? Not a bad price, on average 20 bucks. Average reviews only 45. I love that. It's only getting sold. I like more of like 500 minimum monthly sales. But again, I think this might be something. Again, I didn't dig deep enough, but it did pop out at me. This is the type of numbers that pop out at me. It's a simple product, it looks like. Again, I got to do more research. But now I can start like asking suppliers, how much does this cost? If I'm going to sell this for 20, if I wanted to buy 1,000 units, how much is it each unit? So I would have to jump over to Alibaba and look at that type of stuff, right? Now, I also want to look at how I can make mine better, look at the reviews, again, all that good stuff. But I did find this product, and it did pop out at me from going through Black Box and then jumping on Amazon, looking at Jungle Scout, looking at certain numbers. Now, I didn't do a full research on this, and we'll do some right now, because in Helium-10, another thing you could do, here's a keyword research tool. There's a really good tool. I love this tool. I just typed in defrosting tray as the keyword because that's the main term, and this is going to pull a whole bunch of data for me. And this data that it's going to pull is actual data from Amazon. I had this search before, so we'll load from history. Okay, so it's telling me defrosting tray gets searched exact volume a month on Amazon, about 7,000. That's a good monthly volume right there. Definitely a good monthly volume. Here's the top products, pretty much top competitors. But first, let's look at some of these keywords. So I like to organize them from exact phrase search match volume at the top, the most at the top. So it's going to calculate that, and it puts it in order. So frozen foods, no, that's really not a keyword. I would have to dig deeper on that keyword to see. But defrosting tray, definitely. Thawing plate, you see it. This starts giving me new ideas. Rapid defrosting tray. I'd have to see if that is actually competitor's term though. But what I would end up doing right now, if I was going to go into this, is I would export all these keywords, put it into a Google Drive folder. This way I have all of these terms. And then the next thing I would do is I want to reverse engineer the top competitors. Here are some of the top competitors. So I'm going to click on this guy, and what this is going to do, it's going to open up another tool below the keyword tool, which is pretty much, it's called Cerebro, and what it's doing is it's taking the ASIN, and you can manually also put the ASIN in here of a competitor, and you just reverse search, load, and it's actually going to give me keywords and show me where this competitor is ranking for those terms. And again, I also was using Jungle Scout, remember, to see people's average sales. So I could also go back into Jungle Scout, look up this ASIN, and see what he was making per month by ranking on page 1 for these type of terms. Now I know what kind of terms I want to rank on page 1 for, right? Maybe it's meet the froster tray, right? These start giving you new ideas that you wouldn't think of. So it's the same thing. I would export these terms, put them in a nice organized folder. And again, this stuff takes work, but this tool is really unique, really cool. And another great feature in this tool, there's a lot of tools within inside this, is once you start getting your listings up and you know what keywords you want to rank for, you can actually put it in the keyword tracker, and it would actually let you know and keep track of where you are for those keywords. So as time goes on, you can see if you're ranking and moving up to position 1. You can see for defrost tray, they're in position 1. This name, I'm not sure if that's a brand. We'd have to look into that. But we want to get ourselves in position 1, 2, or 3, or anywhere on the first page to compete with these guys, right? And the way we would make our stuff look better is making our product listing look better, making sure we have a better quality product. But that stuff takes time, right? Like I said, getting the right samples, adjusting, and making sure you're making a quality product. Another cool thing that I forgot to mention in the keyword research tool, if you're just starting off, another thing I would suggest looking at is when you run the keyword, let's run this keyword, load from history, Okay, so let's get this back in order from highest search volume down. Defrosting tray. I would look at right here the CPR daily giveaways. This gives me a good idea of how many I need to be selling consistently to compete on page one. And that's just a good number to keep in mind, because think about this. If you're not consistently selling at least 18 or 20, I would say, a day, I would really go for like 20, maybe a little over 20 a day consistently. And that there's strategies to do that. You know, if you have an email list or if you are running pay-per-click ads, right? This shows you the competitiveness. So we need to be selling at least this many, have an optimized listing to really compete, right, with the top competitors. And what this also allows me to do is, if I'm on a smaller budget, I want to go after terms that we call budget keyword terms. They're terms that I don't have to really give away or spend money on getting many units moved per day. And I hope that makes sense. I just wanted to point that out. But pretty much, the more competitive it is, the more units you need to be pushing a day. And sometimes that means that you're giving major discounts, you're spending a lot of money on the pay-per-click campaigns, or you're spending money on social campaigns, right? And you're doing things outside and on Amazon and spending money in order to compete. So there's more money to be spent in that area, and a lot of people forget to mention that. So that's why the less competitive, if you start looking at terms, and this, if you're average, if you think about this, meat defrosting tray, this is a really good term. I think this would be a good one to go after in the beginning, and that's more of a budget term because it's saying if you're selling at least 2 a day, you have a chance to compete with the people on page 1. Now, is it the highest search volume term? No, but hey, it's something that stands out to me. It's something that I definitely might go for first, and then later on try to go for the bigger terms, right, and make even more sales. Again, this is just a small approach in the way I look at things. And another thing I want to also mention, I don't want to discourage anyone if you see products that do have a lot of reviews. That doesn't mean that you can't get to page 1. You know, I'm involved in a mastermind group. I know people getting to page 1 with 1 review on their listing. But again, if you're competing with people with many stars, it's just a conversion factor that we look at. I hope this helps you also make some decisions and really look into these tools and you see how powerful they are. Another thing, I'll show you something that I use too when I'm doing some product research. I'll go over to Google Trends. And let's say I had a product idea, and sometimes you'll see these products and they look great. Like, remember Silly Bands? We'll just type in Silly Bands. Remember, these were big. Silly, spelled it wrong. Silly Bands. Past 2004, present. See, this is something that I look at. So I put in Silly Bands, and you'll notice, like, it was nowhere, it was nowhere, it was nowhere, it was nowhere. And then right around here in 2009, January 2010, it's probably around Christmas time too, boom, it went up, and then it came back down. And then look, now it's nowhere, nowhere. It's not a smart idea, I feel, to get into this. I mean, you could, there's money here, don't get me wrong. And there's guys that do this. They launch things that are trending right away, and they make the money right here. But it's not evergreen, right? It's not going to last forever because you're getting in a market that's just trending for a little bit, and then the spike goes down, and now you're not making any sales here. So now you have a listing that's not going to make any sales. You want to look for things that are gradually growing. Let's actually try defrosting tray. All right. So it looks like this has like an up and down type of thing, and now it's starting maybe to catch on. I don't mind seeing this. I don't like how it's going up and down throughout. I kind of like to see it steadily go up and grow. We'll see. Maybe it goes back down a little bit, but as long as it's going up and down forever, and it maybe sometimes you'll see this because it's a seasonal thing. But again, we would have to do more research. We'd have to see sales history of some of our competitors. And also the Helium 10 has a Chrome extension as well that you could use. And you could use that to see sales history of the competitors, how long they've been selling, how long have they been a good seller on Amazon. And if you see a year or 2 years of history, 3 years, 4 years, and they're consistently selling the same product for that long, obviously there's a market for it, especially if you see sales coming in. Again, I don't want to make this video too long, but I hope that helps you see a little bit of the product research that I do, but also the power of the tools and why to stay away from, especially if you're new to FBA, some of the competitive saturated markets, because it's going to cost more money. But if you could find a good product that you could get made for a cheap price, especially if you're on a budget, and you can enter a market where it's not too competitive. And again, another thing I look at, remember this, remember how we looked at stainless steel straws. When we look at the frosting tray, remember the other one had 8,000 competing results? Look, only 269 competing results. A lot less, right? And I look at these things because you're new to the game. You have to be very smart and take your time. Don't rush. I know a lot of these products are going to make you excited, but really take your time. Really go through the samples, because whatever market you enter, you want to think long term. And I've made the mistakes before. And also sometimes there's a learning curve with it though. You might launch a product and then notice like, hey, I need to adjust certain things on my product, or I have to add certain things to my product, and that's fine moving forward. But if you could get it right out the gate, I mean, it's that much better, right? So learn from other mentors and some mistakes, and I could tell you, really do your product research, get as many samples as you can, put them through a quality control test, make sure they do what they say they're supposed to do before you go and sell it right on Amazon. You want to get the best reviews you can. So I hope that helps with some FBA, Amazon product research help and how I do it. And again, just a product that I would stay away from, and there's a million more, believe me, that are just either just trends or just too saturated. Hope that helps. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. I'll deliver some more.